What's going on, everybody? niXcraft here, and welcome on back to the series Surviving with niXcraft. I've missed you guys. We are in episode 24 today, standing in front of the horse stables, which we built up in the last episode after raiding a woodland mansion. That was a fun one, but we are in 1.19 now, folks, so we have some more adventuring ahead of us today. But first, based on these comments, we were asked to name the donkey, and now donkeys, Eddie and Murphy. So, here you go. There you go. That's based on the comments. I'll do what you say. So, I still have two more horses here that need names as well, so let me know on those. I think the plan for today is to set out and find ourselves a mangrove swamp. I love these biomes. I explored a little bit of it in a different world, but I think it's time we find it here. Now, I know we've done a lot of exploring, and my plan for finding these mangrove swamps is a bit of a controversial one. I might use chunk base, which is a good tool to find biomes that might be either new to 1.19 or that you just haven't been able to find yet in your world. And just type in your world seed and you'll be able to search for it. So I'll still have to fly there. It'll definitely be thousands of blocks away considering how much we explored, but I think that's going to make it a little bit easier for us. I'll leave the link in the description. The coordinates I have for the closest mangrove swamp is 2110 -270, which is about 3,000 blocks that way. Good thing we have a lot of rockets and we're able to heal up our elytra, so we'll make it. But I think my plan is not only to find the mangrove swamp, but to gather up a lot of the wood and blocks and stuff around and build ourselves a little village out there in the mangrove swamp. I think that'd be really cool. So I think today we'll start planning some of that stuff out and maybe build a couple houses over there. As always, be sure to subscribe. We just reached 100 subscribers just a month or two ago, and we are still growing, so I appreciate all the support. Definitely going to bring along a couple of slime balls with me just so we could feed up the frogs, and I think we're ready to set out on our journey. So let's head out this way over the villager breeding house. We're going to be on our way. We are getting pretty close to the coordinates now, guys. Only a few hundred blocks, so maybe not. Here it is right here, guys, and we have some mangrove swamp loading in. We can see the dark gray of the mud everywhere, and this biome was pretty big from what I saw on Chunk Base. It looks like it's kind of mixing in a little bit with the rest of the terrain, which is a little bit weird, but yeah, we have ourselves a mangrove. Let's take a look around in this area once it's daytime. I'm really liking this area here with the sort of bay area around the swamp and a couple of trees growing out of the water. I think that's pretty cool. I think I definitely want to tackle a couple of custom mangrove trees, which is going to be tough because I haven't really seen too much of these yet. This biome is a decent size. I wouldn't say it's too big, but it's definitely got a lot to offer in here. Let's take a look down and see if we could find any critters hopping around these waters. I really love the idea of being able to walk under the tall branches of these trees and the roots coming down. I think it'd be cool to kind of play along with that, have some pathways going through the trees, maybe building a couple of our own that are tall enough to have houses in the roots, or even up top have some tree houses and some bridges coming across. Oh man, the inspiration is really settling in. And right here by the river we have some friends jumping around, and the white frogs are the ones that come out to play in the mangrove. This one is actually mixed with a regular swamp as well, so we will get the orange temperate frogs, but I think I'm gonna try breeding these guys. I'm hoping they can access the water down there, but yeah, I want to take home some tadpoles so we can have some frogs of our own. Let's see if this works out. Come here, guys. I'm gonna give you one, and do your thing. I had to do it. It's not quite a mangrove boat, but we do have a chest boat here that we could start exploring around the waters a little bit. Probably collecting up some lily pads. This wandering trader even made its way out here. But yeah, we could take a look at some of this river area, and I'm really liking all the life around it, the tropical fish that spawn in, and I think we're going for like a fishing village. A lot of docks sticking out into the river here, and I want to save some of these trees that are in the water like I had mentioned, but yeah, I'm really liking this area. I just really need to find some frogs. Here we go, these guys are in a good spot right by the water. Boop, boop. And that frog is heading over to the water, and we have some frog spawn laying on top. And these guys should change into tadpoles eventually, and I only have one bucket now that I think of it. So I should probably try and get another one. Nope, I had another one in my ender chest the whole time. See, this is why you organize this thing. And now the frog is in the chest boat. Oh, there we go. We got a tadpole on land here. Let's see if we could get it in the bucket. There's one, and we have two. There we go. Little tadpoles, or bucket of tadpole, as Minecraft likes to call it. And we could take these guys home and bring them to our own village. Now I think it's probably a good idea to start planning where some houses are going to be. Now I think this is going to be sort of the main center area. We're going to have houses all along this, hopefully, and going down the river that way would be pretty cool. Maybe even something on that island over there, I'm not too sure. Depends how far we get on this thing, of course. It's going to be a lot of materials, but speaking of that, I think it's time to chop down some of these trees just to give us a little bit more space along the banks. And don't worry, we'll end up replacing some of those back eventually. These trees like to grow very sporadically and all over the place, but that's why we love them. Actually starting with this tree that we're standing on, because I think it's taking up a little bit too much space in the middle, and we can't really see what's going on at the edge here. Now as I'm chopping this down, you'll notice that it's a little tough to break these roots. There's no real specific tool to do it. In fact, it's even quicker with the sword, which is okay, I guess. I get it. It's kind of like bamboo. You can cut that down with a sword, and maybe tree roots like this would work if you're slashing them with a sword, but I don't know. I think if I have an efficiency 4 axe like I do, I should be able to mine these roots a lot quicker than that. Heading over to a random part of this mangrove swamp, I need to collect up a lot of mud, because I think with our building today, we're going to use some packed mud. I'm going to need a lot of wheat as well. And while we gather some mud, I think I'm going to take home a few of these propagules here so we could start farming this mangrove wood. Definitely going to be using that in our builds today, considering it's a mangrove swamp. And now that we have a little bit of space amongst the trees here, and I've got some inspiration for a build, I think we gotta head home and gather up some materials so we could start this project here. On our way home here, landed ourselves in an acacia village that happens to have a pillager tower right next to it. At least they have an iron golem, but the other thing that they have is actually some allays. Our little floating blue friends are trapped in the box down there, but I'm gonna wait and sleep and hopefully get this loot up here in the chest. Maybe there'll be a goat horn. Alright, dropping down in now. Let's see. Hey, we do have a goat horn. Cool. It is feel. So let's go over to this mountain over here and play this and see what happens. I haven't heard this one yet, I don't think. Alright, I've turned the game sounds up a little bit so you could hear it, and hopefully this sounds pretty cool. That's hilarious. Writing down these coordinates here so we could remember it for another time. That's another 1.19 thing accomplished. Let's head home and gather up some mangrove wood and get some building done. I recognize this house here. We have made it home. Oh wow, this place looks amazing. I think the plains here behind our library will be a better spot to grow these wild trees, but yeah, let's start gathering up some blocks here. I've made a forest of mangrove trees. These trees take forever to mine, and I don't even have a full stack of the wood yet. I have more than a stack of mangrove roots, of course, and for some reason, mangrove leaves don't like to stack together. I have multiple stacks of these, just kind of scattered throughout my inventory, and yeah, I can't stack them together, so that's definitely a bug at the moment, and I think they really need to improve how we're chopping these down, because yeah, it is extremely slow. This is going to take forever. I was pretty surprised. The trip there and back only used about half of our elytra, but before we collect up items and head back there to build, I gotta hang out here by the mob farm and heal this up, so we'll be back at the mangrove swamp in a minute. Making our way over to our wheat field here, we might have to expand this with the new packed mud, because we're gonna have to combine the regular mud with some of this wheat. As you can see, I'm kinda low here, so I think we have just enough to turn what we have into packed mud, but definitely going to have to expand and make a bigger wheat field eventually. And there goes all my wheat, but here's a little bit of a color palette that I'm going with for these builds here. We've got dripstone, a little coarse dirt, and the packed mud, and all sorts of wood over here, including the mangrove. I think we're going to go for little mud huts sort of builds here. So looks like they're built up out of packed mud, but kind of go up into wood in the walls and the roof. I think it's going to look really good. I came up with something creative I think you guys are going to like. With our tools and elytra healed up, I think we're ready to head back to the mangrove. We'll grab an extra stack of rockets here from our box. I think we're ready to go. We might end up making a trip back here, of course, but luckily the trip wasn't as far as I originally thought, so our elytra should handle the journey back and forth. Making sure to stop by any village I see, and I'm going to take all these hay bales so we can make some more packed mud. Looks like we'll have plenty of packed mud now. I almost got a stack of hay bales on the way back here, but I'm going to take a bit of this packed mud out now and start just laying out some foundations of these houses, I think. And we're going to go back here into the trees to start and build this one together. I think we're going to do just kind of like a rough circle shape. Doesn't have to be exact. My plan is to just kind of go a bit more rustic on these builds and a bit more broken up, but I think it's going to look a lot better once everything is surrounded and we have it detailed out. So this is about the shape I'm going for here. A circle, but not quite a circle, a little bit broken up, and we'll just pick a spot for a door, maybe right there, and start building up the walls a little bit. Building up the foundation just a bit now, we're going to basically mix in a little bit of these mud bricks and some dripstone, I think, too. The dripstone block really does go well with the mud palette, I think. And then around the mud area on the ground, I think it'd be cool to mix in some of the coarse dirt, too. I want it to kind of look like this foundation was kind of built up by hand from the mud that was on the ground. And yeah, I think eventually we'll add like a big wheat field in this village, so it'll supply the people here with the wheat that they need to make some packed mud. So everything should make sense here. Building with irregular shapes like this, I feel like really helps you out as a builder. You get to sort of test yourself and see what kind of things you can produce when you really don't know what the outcome's going to be. Like this shape is really, really strange, and I'm not too sure exactly what the outcome in the end is going to be, but that's part of the fun, I think, and that's part of the challenge as well of building. Alright, now that we have the foundation in and a bit of a doorway to get in, I think the plan is to kind of start with some wood, and I think we're going to go with oak here. It's sort of a lighter tone, so we could stick with the palette of the mud. And with this, I kind of want to just get the walls even, and then we'll figure out a better shape at the top so we could put a roof on it. Alright, now that everything is basically at the same level, I think all we're going to do is just kind of square this off. So we have these corners here, and it's making a weird shape, but we could just square it off like this, and this will be a lot easier to put a roof on rather than this weird funky shape. So yeah, we can kind of blend this together, maybe even go up one more. Not too sure here. I'm also going to mix in a little bit of the stripped oak log, so it's not just the same planky texture. Okay, here's what we're looking at so far. I even have some of the swirly textures of the logs sticking out because I kind of want this to look roughened up a little bit, just like a little muddy shack. But now we can go around and start poking out holes for little windows so the guys can get a look at the nice pond out here with all the tropical fish. And yeah, I think we could start thinking about a roof here. And I'm already heading home because I forgot glass. Okay, now we've got the glass here, and we put some windows in. Made ourselves a roof line too out of some dark oak, and just detailing the outside with a little bit of spruce fences to kind of bring this thing together a little bit. Now I think we're going to put the mangrove wood up on the roof and just kind of finish up some final details of this. Don't know if we're going to get to any interiors today because I want to build a couple more of these over here along this pond that we have going on. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. I'm also thinking about adding a dock along the way here, just so we could get a better walking path to find these houses. Alright, I spent some time detailing our build here, and I think we're ready for a big reveal. And 3, 2, 1, here we are, folks. The first little mud hut of the village. And I'm really loving this, guys. It looks really cool and sort of broken up. I like how it's just packed together with the mud. I added some coarse dirt around the house as well, just to sort of bring it into the ground. And we brought some azalea leaves with us for the detailing. I didn't know if I wanted to do the mangrove leaves. I think it would just mix in too much, but I also added a deep slate tile chimney to the top. I think this is looking great. I'm pretty sure each house is going to have a chimney just so we could have some life going on in this village. But yeah, this house is looking awesome, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. We set ourselves up 2 more foundations, guys, and we are ready to build. We're going to get a little dock in too. And I think this one's more tucked in the trees, but these are going to be more exposed. So we'll see how these come out. I'm kind of just winging these, but I think that means it's time to kick it off into a time lapse. I'll see you folks back here in a minute. Hey there folks, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that time lapse. I definitely enjoyed building it. Look at these houses. I think they came out fantastic. Oh, and cue the rain I guess, but that's pretty fitting for the swamp. I can't wait to add some more of these houses along this pond here and just start completing this village, but I think this is a great start. Starting back behind the first house we built with a little frog friend back here, we have a small tiny trail, which is something I want to keep in this village, just going through the trees. We have these tiny pathways going through and leading out to these docks that give you a better view of the water. And just look at these houses. Now there's no interior in these quite yet. I'll probably just work on these off camera because interiors are something I'm not really good at, if you guys remember, but sure we'll figure something out with this. But yeah, I'm really loving how these came out, and I think we could change up the wood type in these houses a little bit. Maybe have a group of houses where we use spruce wood instead, or dark oak or something like that, and give some variety to this. But I really love the mangrove doors and trap doors as well. As you can see, I used a lot of these, but I think this place came out really great. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. But I think that's just going to do it for me today, folks. I really appreciate everybody watching. Of course, subscribe if you're new here. I will see you folks in the next one. Take care.